this is Divine Sunshine on the Divine Unisouls, the playground experience. We have here my lovely co-host, Kathy D and April Williams. Yay! All right, so today what we are handling and tackling is the subject setting goals. It's important for us on our twin flame journey to understand that we have to have goals because it's almost like the target sign. You've got to have a place in which you're going to. And so everything else, when you do it with intent and purpose, you know everything else will follow through. Your resources, the people, whatever you need, materials will do that because already you're divine, you're powerful, and they'll just attract to you like a magnet. And so when we're kind of going around things not being very purposeful, it makes just anything kind of happen and gets thrown into our road or in our path. And so we want to make sure that when we are acting with intent, and we know what we actually know what we want to happen and for it to manifest and occur, we use goal setting. Goal setting is like almost like, to me, a blueprint. And this helps you to also keep on track too. It's like, what's my objective? What am I doing? You know, and then everything else moves and has its being from that point on. So I'm gonna let everybody kind of tell in their own words. Why is this goal setting so important? Why is goal setting so important these days, especially these days? Kathy D or April Williams?
Are you in the show? Hello.
Jump on in the water. No sharks.
Well, I'll start. Goal setting, I believe, is especially if you don't understand what your mission is or don't know where you're going with mission. Goal setting is a wonderful way to kind of find something. It's like smaller steps to be on track to finding what you need. It's also a really great way to give you direction and guidance, just in general. You know, kind of pick out what's important, what's not.
Yes. Goal setting is just basically a skill that helps reinforce your self-esteem and your self-worth as well. Not that you need to have a goal, like something difficult, but something that you can feel proud about, that you're actually you're setting forth and doing to know that you can accomplish. Mm-hmm. I think that it's a big deal. Like for my son, today was the first day they helped mommy carry something. And it was very sweet. And his goal, and he had to stop, was to carry a big thing of bananas from the car into the house. And it was just so cute. He kind of trying to figure out how to hold it. But I could see him feel proud. I could see him feel like he accomplished. And we're here to be of service. The question is now, what do you want to do in order to attain, or what are their goals? And short, medium, long term, forgiveness, chakras, subtle bodies. This is where it starts to get into that interesting level of biting off pieces so that you can get through the whole pizza. What is it? You start with one piece of pizza, and you start with bites of that slice of pizza, and then you get through.
I think one of the phrases they use in education is how to eat an elephant one bite at a time.
Right.
I like pizza better. It makes me so sad.
Not Dumbo. Dumbo can fly. It's just really important, especially as twin flames, that kind of gives us I'm being shown like an anchor. To really know that you're not really with all these energies that's happening and things going on and the distractions that happen too, that you don't find yourself kind of just, I call it taying in the wind, in any kind of form of fashion. Yeah. Just tan, I'm just out there just blowing like the little thing out there at the car dealership. Yee! And it just really, so you can be able to have more so of a, you can be flexible and understanding that also when you're setting goals, sometimes don't be hard on yourself that you set it and then like, okay, you know what? I don't know that worked yesterday, but I don't know that gonna work today. And so, they bring it to me too, to be anchored, but then be flexible too. Kathy D always talk about like, be like a willow, to bend when things and find yourself that you might have to pick up another goal. Like, yeah, at the beginning that started off right, but I don't know about it now. I kind of think about me and with my educations each time when I think of and I get a degree. Sometimes I find myself that I like, okay, that kind of worked then, but I don't know. That's not the direction that I feel like I'm going now in the 3D. And so that kind of really you got to kind of apply that, especially in its 3D living. Really, yourself doing kind of goals, resetting your goals now, especially with this new order and the Aquarius age that we're supposed to be going into. You might find yourself saying, you know what, my goals is going to have to be more spiritual, or my goals have to be more about where I'm at now. It's about me. Before I was setting goals, it's about everybody else and how they fit in my plan. And so now you might even, while we take this inner journey, might even find yourself saying, you know what, I think my goal is just me, what interests me, what fits me, what makes me feel good. And this is where we're kind of like moving into now, of understanding that that's why the setting goals is now changing the dynamics of how you're doing, especially as twin flames. That before we were like everybody else, it's more so it's a ray, it filters out like a pond. It's you, and then let everybody else benefit from your bliss and whatever goal that you have, and not the opposite. My goal I'm setting is for everybody else, and then I'll benefit from it. You always find yourself being the last on the list as far as you're doing the goal. So now this time is me, and then everybody else will benefit. It shoots out this way instead of shooting this way, as far as what setting is. Yes.
I think that also it takes time to mature and get yourself shifted into attaining and sustaining the goal. Because often I hear a lot of, well, I want to be in union, or I want to do this. And, that's like a small child saying, I want to eat. We're going to go with pizza again. I don't know. Let's say you're baking it. I like cookies too. What's a good one? Oh,
chocolate peanut butter. No one knew.
Like there's certain things like a potato. Let's say I really want some French fries. Well, if you don't even peel the potato, you just hand it and you say, "I'm ready for my French fry," and then you bite into a cold, raw, dirty potato. There's a lot of steps that we're missing before it became a very yummy French fry. You know what I'm saying? So we had to wash it and cut it up in the shape we wanted, and then we had to like fry it. And then if you want it really good, you take it out, let it cool for a bit, and then you fry it again. So you get
double fry.
So there's an
and if you want them really good, you soak them in salt water to get all that starch off of them. Then you dry them, fry them, and then fry them again.
Oh,
and they're salty from the inside out.
Yes, and welcome to the playground cooking show.
Your chefs tonight will be doing potatoes.
Oh, tonight was chefs.
It's up to you. It depends on what you like.
More vitamins in the peel, though.
Oh, well, I like just crispy. As long as it's crispy. Anyway, but it's just taking that time and having it not. Having someone else included in your goals, like children and things, is definitely feasible and possible. But the only person you can actually control in the whole scheme of things is really yourself. So if your goal, like Divine Sunshine and Kathy are saying, we focus on the self for goals. I know that you may want your twin and you may want that union, but if you're not ready to see each other, you're going to trigger each other so bad, then you go into blame game stuff. And that includes blaming yourself or them or the combination of both. And then you have this repelling action, and it takes longer for it to come back together. I used an analogy earlier in the sunshine circle. Rise and shine. It's so cool. I thought about it. My grandma said it to me every single day. She raised me for the majority of my life. I was maybe in the 4th grade. And she would say to me every morning, rise and shine. And it's rise and shine with the sunshine circle. It's so sweet. And
Right.
and so the analogy I used was you have a water tank and you drop a pebble in and the water reverberates out, and then it comes back. So you want to be able to have that goal set. You don't want to set that ripple with your divine counterpart. You want to come together like that big giant stone that hits and shakes and reverberates throughout the planet. But the only way you can really make that big movement and that big the power move is when you come in as a power couple, because then you've got the balanced energy in that flow. And holding that vibration is really easier once you set goals and you start to attain them and you start to feel good and know that you would accomplish this goal, so that when you do actually get into your physical union, if you're not already in physical union, you can sustain it longer.
Right.
So, feeling the self. It's okay to be better than other people at what you do. Sometimes we undervalue even our own gifts and realize that we are talented and we can reach our goals, and we can, let's say, I used to have this thing where, how could I be better than my parents? How can I be better than my mother? How do I attain more wealth and allow myself to just be there? And it's like, you're born that way. You're born to reach higher and higher goals. What was it your mom would say? Something about aiming, shoot for the
My
stars.
grandmother used to say, shoot for the stars. The worst that can happen is you land on the moon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear there's a man on the moon.
Not my DM. He's not on the moon. He might send me the song "Fly Me to the Moon," but no. So
I heard that song earlier in the hardware store.
What?
They're playing all kinds of weird love songs. I'm like, okay, goal check, DM song.
Yes. Get that heart chakra going. Fly me to the moon. Yes, that's what it's supposed to do. You're supposed to be around that heart way, like, okay, all right, my heart chakra's open. I feel you.
I sung in a band. I sung for a band called the Space Cadets for a while.
Oh, okay.
So I've been floating around, floating in love.
well, I think one of the main problems we run into, and you guys kind of jump in with this too, because I think everybody needs to realize in this process of goal setting, we all run into, now with a psychology background, education background, all of this understanding energy and all this, we still run into blocks. We all have these things that keep us from achieving our goals or even starting our goals. And some of the problem areas they talk about, through cognitive brain theory, is limiting beliefs, believing that you can't do it. And that can be something from as simple as organizing a closet to, starting a business. And so I know that's one of them.
Relationship straight up,
Right. So what do you guys find as some of your blocks on goal setting, or that you have to, little hurdles you have to, or mountains that you have to overcome?
For me, goal setting is procrastination. Sometimes even getting started. It could be one. Got too many ideas, and time management to sit down to make the goal, or to kind of lay it out. Sometimes that's something my blocks for me.
My blocks tend to be, I think, worthy. Am I worth getting there? Am I worth this time? I'm a very self-critical, so I kind of slow myself down with judging whether it's good enough or not. And it's usually better than what I think it is, but I tend to be pretty hard on myself. Clarity on what I actually am trying to get to. I have this really grandiose idea, right? So big, but then how to break it up into smaller, digestible pieces to get there. What else? A fear of, well, this is in the past. I liked to martyr. I'd like to say, oh, somebody else doesn't want me to reach that goal, or that would hurt that other person if I hit that goal. And then something else that I would get would be, well, if I do this, then I'll have to keep doing it. If I reach that goal, then I'm stuck in this particular position.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Fear of success. That's a big one. And it sounds crazy, but it really is. It's a major fear for everybody when starting goals, is a fear of success. Am I going to be able to maintain this? Am I going to have to maintain this? What am I going to have to do after I've achieved this? Then what are they going to expect of me? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's a lot of things, you know, that come with it. But the 7 top ones are feeling limited due to, you know, not having a good self about it. Difficult making decisions. So if you're indecisive, unable to get started or having action, and that's overcoming inaction is what you have to do. Fear or resistance, self-sabotage or procrastination, and that fear of success kind of falls into that sabotage as well. Negative self-talk and others limiting thinking and beliefs. So if others have told you, you know, you're not good at math, you're never going to be good at math, you were never good at math, why would you want to be an accountant? Kind of thing, you know, but I love numbers, but you're not good at math, whoever, you know. So those kind of things. And then stress, overwhelmed, anxiety, or obsessive thinking or feeling out of control.
Oh, wow.
So if things are seeming to be spinning around, that's probably not the best time to be trying to set large goals. You want to set smaller goals. And I recommend that for anybody. It takes 21 days to form a habit. And Raquel says 63 to make it concrete. So this isn't a quick thing. So I always suggest to anybody when you're starting goals, before you get into a 30, 90, you know, day kind of situation, always start with something small. If it's nothing more than, I don't know, emptying your dishwasher every morning or wipe your counters every morning in your kitchen, whatever you can do, you know, that's just a natural habit. And make sure that you just follow through something that no matter what happens, you're going to do it anyway. Because sometimes people let life kind of lead them off if we say something like you're going to meditate or you're going to journal, because then they can let other things come in like, well, you know, oh, well, so-and-so needed this, or I had to do this, so I couldn't do it this morning. But something just mundane task like wiping off your kitchen counters or emptying your dishwasher. You can, you know, you think to yourself, well, even if you're in the people-pleasing mode still, you know, that people benefit from the, you know, so there's a reason behind you doing it and starting slow and seeing you become of that. So that's always start slow. Don't jump right into huge goals or you'll wind up in a mess.
One thing I'd like to put out for, because the community that's going to be watching this particular program, you need to meditate every day. Guaranteed. Start with 1 minute. You cannot give me an excuse of why you can't set your phone on a timer for 1 minute and just breathe. Like let everything out of you and breathe. And then go 5 minutes, 7 minutes. If you can give yourself a 15-minute block, great. If you can't, that's okay. And we get to train our minds that we are in control, because there's a level of, especially in terms of what's happening with the astrology right now, that distractions are going to be imminent, and they are pulling distraction mode. So we don't focus our energy to be poignant. We are not making our points. We're not making our voices really heard because we're effectively spreading it and taking in all kinds of opinions and blah 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 blah. So maybe the goal, a basic simple goal, is I'm going to do something for myself to connect with my higher self today. I'm going to do something to add clarity because we're all empathic, we're all psychic to certain levels of degrees, we're all really tuning our instruments, getting to know our bodies, and learning to appreciate and fully understand the beauty of what it means to be on this planet. We're also getting pulled into this societal chaos, seeming chaos, that they want us to be distracted by and do other things. So we need to be able to have clear minds and clear discernment when we're getting in all this bombarded information that is being filtered and edited and controlled. And we think we have the illusion of freedom, but I sure as heck I'm starting to see all those freedoms slip away. And I see it like I know a lot of people who've come out of or are in the prison system and how these things are working. And we have all these little prisons, and part of them is the mindset. And the only way to free ourselves is to have one, attainable goals so we know that we're getting there, and two, a strategy that allows us to be clear and just our own selves, just our own channel, so that we can talk to higher source, so that we can set even better goals that lead us closer to union, both inner union and external 3D union.
It's funny that you said that because David had introduced me to a video that was talking about, it's called The Three Amigos, and it was talking to, I think his name was Bruce. It's a lot of them. Oh Lord, let me look on the phone real quick so I can give them their right just due. And he talked about how the importance of, let me get them straight. Yeah, was it him? Every day that you do that. It was Greg Braden, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and Bruce Lipton. And I can't remember which one it was, but he was talking about the importance of why you meditate each day is because it helps you to get in touch with the spirit that is with spirit or source, or whichever way that you want to say that. And it was saying that with him, he was saying that you need to really kind of check in with yourself pretty much every, throughout the day. Let's put it that way. And he said the importance of doing that is just to make sure that you're in alignment, because when you meditate, you're setting the intentions of how you want your day to go about. And I think sometimes we don't understand what's the importance of meditation and what's the objective for why we do meditations every day. Is just to set the intentions for the day, to check in. And he said throughout the day, ask yourself, okay, today when you're meditating, and I think Ma had made even a joke about that too with me, because he's like, okay, you meditate, but then when somebody says something, you're agitated. So what's the purpose of you meditating? Because it don't look like it's working for you. So that was earlier. So I was like, you know what, she's got a point. If I'm letting everybody get me, as the kids say, off my square, then it's something about me that not serving this purpose. So the thing is that throughout the day, if I'm doing, and I do my meditations with David, the soul mission, and he does that singing on the bowl is for love and clarity. So if that's what I'm meditating, that means throughout the day, I should be checking myself out to say, okay, how's the love and clarity going today? Did you achieve that today? While you did that, because that was your intentions that you set it today. So did you express love? Okay. Did you get clarity about some things? And then sometimes he's saying, if you do go through that, check in and then stop and say, let me meditate again real quick. Maybe the kids are out. If you're a teacher like myself, they're at recess and say, okay, let me get myself back because I didn't express love. I snapped at that kid. That was loving. So let me take a little minute of time to kind of go maybe in the washroom to kind of reset myself and say, okay, meditate back again. And then go back, and then at the end of the day, he was saying, again, check in with yourself again. And two, and see how did it go about meditation. A lot of times we do it, I call meditation clinical. The clinical meditation. It sounds cute. What do you do? I meditated today. I said my mantras. I did that. But you're not taking it and making it purposeful and making it intentional as to why you are actually meditating. It's a purpose for it. That means you're setting the intentions with your meditating that throughout the day you're going to stay in that vibration throughout the day. And when you don't, to bring clarity and understanding of what I'm saying throughout the day, you might find yourself have to go back into meditation again to reset what you had intentionally had did at the beginning of the day. And it's okay. Some people like to meditate at the beginning, and some people like to meditate at the end. But that meditation also helps you to stay on track as well. So I thought that was a very poignant point that April had brought up about the meditation, because to me that helps you also as well with the goal setting, especially with them 7 deadly no-nos of getting you off track of goal setting and what stops you. If you use that as a tool, that might help you to again have purposeful thinking and staying on track with your goals as well. Yeah, I see. What's happening, Kathy?
We're having a really bad thunderstorm, so that's why I'm kind of flipping in and out with the signal on the computer. So if I disappear, that's why everybody froze for a minute, and I was like,
oh,
oh gosh,
Wait,
everybody, I'm off again. So that's
that was
I know.
okay. So I also had that kind of. I was able. There was a time in my life. Nobody needs to do this. This is all extra. I'm actually super extra. If you know me, I'm like really, really, really extra. I'm just kidding. I was able to meditate for like 3 hours a day. This was before I had a child. I was in between. I did a certain type of work where I was actually making a lot of money, so I could meditate for 3 hours a day. And I went through my process. There's a whole long ritual, almost like taking a really nice sacred bath, where you like light the candles. You need 17 candles. You got to put the, like I did this whole process. And after about an hour, I would shut my mind down because it took that long to get my head to stop talking.
Okay.
And then I was able to hear source. And channel, and things became super clear. So as I started talking to more teachers, it's like, no, you should be able to do that in less than 5 minutes. Like, what's going on here? Why? I mean, why are you doing it all extra for? And I was like, well, this is my only job. I just need to meditate every day. And I mean, I got really, really, really. It was hard to have a conversation with me because I was so in spirit all the time that even when I sat down in meditation, my friends would tell me, I found this out like 2 years later, that I would just sit down and I would enter into meditation. So they couldn't even talk to me sometimes. Like we would be sitting there talking, and then all of a sudden I was gone, and I would come back because I had trained and conditioned my body to the point. So what I'm trying to get at is moving meditation. I got myself to a level where when I get up, I'm saying these mantras or prayers or positive affirmations while I'm doing these movements. Each move, each breath is a different level of something to concentrate on for a goal for me to embody as I work throughout the day. And as I go throughout the day with this meditation, it really helps me check in more often, right? Because once you take that deep breath, what are you breathing in? And then you start to notice as you do this more often, the check-ins, when you quickly switch out of alignment, when you're quickly switching out of flow. And then you'll see that, you get, let's say you do an assessment at the end of the day. You're like, did I accomplish what little goals, like short goals I set to do for myself today? Did I take the garbage out or cook a couple meals or, whatever your goals are? And then you see where you fell off. And it's usually about the time that you fall off is something that threw you out of your alignment. And as you start to do this, you'll start to notice what's throwing you out more and more. And learning the dynamics. When you get yourself into a certain space, things can test your resolve to kind of how committed are you to being in that vibration, right? Because things are going to push you and pull you and do all kinds of wonderful things throughout the day. So what are some ways to help, or what are things that might stop us from attaining goals, Kathy D?
All right. So our 7 deadly sins of goal setting. Number one is not writing it down.
Oh my.
Out of sight, out of mind. You got to write it down. And there's got to be if it's a long-term commitment kind of goal, you've got to not only write it down, but you've got to write it down and post it up somewhere where you can see it. Where there is a reminder that this is your goal, this is your vision, this is what you're doing, this is where vision boards come in, this is where just everything, this is where you're writing it down. You've got to write it down now, and nobody says it can't be edited later, but you've got to have that basis to have it written down, because out of sight, out of mind.
Well, now that's interesting, and I don't mean to be angel's advocate, but I remember even in our I've heard two concepts about that. Some of them say leave it out, and then I've heard somebody also say hide it, because if you do that, you're consciously, subconsciously telling yourself that it's not obtainable. So, I mean, is that true? I've heard that they say just do it and then hide it away. I've heard too. I was conflicted when they talk about those vision boards, because I can remember me making one, and then somebody was like, "Okay, now put it away so you don't," and then go back to a year from now and then kind of see what things did you obtain. Which one do you think is really the best? Is to see it or to not to see it? That's the question.
I've done it both ways. I've done it where I've kept it out for a week and like studied it, memorized it, made it a visual picture in my mind, and then put it away. And then I have another one that has on the back of my door for years. So I guess it's all in the motivation behind it.
Okay.
And now the one that hangs behind my door, it's pretty. It's pictures of the keys and boats and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of artwork as well as a vision board. So, but I think, yeah, definitely maybe take it out maybe every so many months and visit it and just kind of see where you are with it to kind of refresh your memory. But most
Okay.
definitely you can do either way, if you're a visual learner, the vision board is an excellent thing to keep out. If you're an
Okay.
auditory or a cognitive learner, which means you learn by doing, not so much, because it'll be distracting.
Oh, that's why they told me that. Yeah, because I'm more kinesthetic about doing than
Yeah,
I.
the not cognitive, the kinesthetic. Yeah.
I
Oh,
I've also heard of people doing it digitally,
Mm-hmm.
like doing a digital one, so they can kind of shift and update and
Yep.
into
You
that
can do that
file
with it too.
or whatever.
You can have it. It doesn't even have to be pictures. It can be words.
true.
And then that's always a neat way. If it's words, if it's feelings, if it's emotions, if it's smells. I mean, if you're a person that really can, I guess, connect with certain things like smells and sounds, and ocean waves, and the smell of salt water, and the smell of gardenias, magnolias, certain flowers that have special memories that either gave you, it was a time in your life that you were succeeding or very successful or very proud of, and those smells come up. I went to school in South Carolina, so the smell of a magnolia always reminds me of graduation from college, because we had big magnolia trees on campus. So it's things like that so you can just write the word magnolia, and you would pick up the smell if that's something you're strong in. So there's no really right or wrong way to do a vision board. Some people just, don't use pictures at all. They just write things out. So
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I thought I
it's,
asked because I've always curious. I remember them saying, I said, well, why did I hide my vision board? And now I see why. And it seemed like it worked out well. It was so funny that when I did my vision board, it was like I did it several years, because at my beliefs of my church, it was like they had like certain sections. You had to certain section it off like feng shui. This was for career. This was for things that you want. This is for relationships, and I would get everything except but something that was in that little left corner would never manifest. So everything else would be left, right, bottom right, that left corner bottom would not, those things would not manifest. And it didn't matter. I did this year after year after year. And that bottom left corner, it wouldn't manifest. Those things wouldn't manifest. I don't know what the hell that was about, but anyway. That's just a little tip. Bottom left.
No, upper right is, yeah, I'm thinking upper right is relationship and love.
Okay.
So, bottom left. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it was to the left. It wasn't doing anything. Because I think I switched it. Because I thought it was because I remember, because it was career on the right, relationships to the left. I forgot what was down here at the bottom to the right. I would get that in spades. But whatever was housed on that left in the corner here on this end, that stuff would stay. I wouldn't get none of that stuff. Lose weight, I think it was something. I mean, clothes.
Maybe it was health.
None of that stuff. Yeah. Just a tidbit. Okay, what's the next one? That's me.
Having unclear motivation. Okay, and that's a really big thing. Your why has to be bigger than your what.
Mm-hmm.
And so the why being bigger than the what. That's a great example is I want to be rich because I want to own a fancy car and I want to own a big house and I want to be able to buy, the shoes and, all this kind of stuff. That one isn't going to be as attainable as a why that says, I want to pay off my family's bills. I want to help my parents with their mortgage. I want to leave a legacy for my children, for my children's children. I want, to be able to give to charities. I want to help people that are less fortunate. Those goals are more obtainable because your why is. It's very big. It's connected to your heart. There's emotion attached to it. You do it to buy shoes, we all have, we've all had favorite shoes and we're sad to see them go, and we've worn them to death, but it's not a heartstring connection. And helping others, helping our family, helping our children, helping people have a better life. That's our why. So you've got to make sure that the deadly sin is not having a clear motivation. So you really have to stop and think, why do I really want this? What is it that motivates me behind really having this? Okay. And that's actually on that one, it's a great journaling piece. Why do I want to be a successful life? Or why do I want to be in union with my DM? What is the purpose behind that? And if it's to be happy, please start again. But if it's, to make a difference, to follow my mission, to finish a goal, your why needs to be something sustainable. So that's the big one.
Because he's sexy and cute, I want to be with him. That ain't that. I love that. Ain't gonna work though. Yeah.
No, not really. That can go on your vision board though. That can be on your vision board.
Yes. Okay.
Setting unrealistic goals is number 3. So greatest intentions, but with meaningless action. There we go. So you can't, as much as we know that they're greater good. We know the powers that be. We can, meditate and do the vision boards and everything. But unless you are genuinely passionate about it, and you do something about it, I could, like April says, she meditated for 3 hours, and I'm sure she did actually, lose weight and do things like that. But I could meditate probably for 3 hours to lose weight. But when I got out of that meditation after 3 hours, I ate McDonald's and Little Debbie's and drank a 2-liter, Coke, you're not going to lose weight. There has to be it has to be a realistic goal. There has to be a follow through on that. You've got to be able.
I'm going to say what happened during that meditation was myself was realigning. Mm-hmm. My process was realigning, and what I wanted, I was listening to spirit and source about what to eat and what not to eat. And right. I allowed that to happen. And that's what encouraged that. I think, we go into these habits.
And you became genuinely passionate. Mm-hmm. yeah, you became generally passionate about it. And that's the thing. That's the whole thing. Setting unrealistic goals. If you're not passionate about it, if you're like, yeah, I'll meditate today for 3 hours, but oh, tomorrow I'm not feeling it. You've got to have that consistency. You've got to have those that follow through. It's just like learning a language or anything. You've got to practice at it. So the motivation is the driving force to moving you forward. So if you have unrealistic goals, you don't have that good motivation, then you're not going to be able to, if you're unclear, then you're not going to have the motivation. Because then your what is bigger than your why. And number 4 is not having an effective plan. And it has to have a well thought out plan, and you have to be patient. There's going to be, numerous drafts, and we talked about this with writing papers that we've written them for college, and either, the computer's gone out, or I'm going to show my age, the floppy disk was bad, or, something like that. And you had to do it all over again.
Jesus.
Yep. So, yeah, you have to have that. You have to have an effective plan, and you've got to be able to see it through step by step. It's not one of those things like I do this step and I do this step and then a miracle happens and then there's this. Not that miracles don't happen. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is you have to have a clear understanding of where you're going. That would be like having a road map and then the middle of it's blank. Or your GPS coming up, good luck, and then 10 miles, good luck. And then, now you're back on, service. But you have to have a clear plan. You have to have it planned out, and you have to be realistic in your timeline. I can say I would, love to, work out and lose all this weight and all this kind of stuff, but I can't do it in 2 weeks. It's not, unless it's like 5 pounds, but I can't say, oh, I'm going to lose, 75 pounds in 2 weeks. If you do, you're probably going to be very sick. So, it has to have a realistic goal, and it has to have a realistic timeline.
Like that, you'll gain it back fast.
And then some. And then number 5 is our not taking appropriate action. And that's where you've got to, if you're going to say you're going to, write, or you're going to be in mission, or you're, any of those things, you've got to do something. You've got to have an action. You've got to meditate. You've got to ask for help. You've got to journal. You've got to do some life inventories to find out what it is that you're passionate about. There's got to be some action toward it. Is it that you go back to school and learn a skill? Is it that maybe you change your major, or, change the way you're thinking, or do you change your job? But it all is motion. There's got to be something has to go into motion. By just sitting there and talking about it and thinking about it, that goal is never going to go anywhere but on that paper, and never going to be to fruition. Now, number 6 is losing focus. And you have to be focused on it. So if you don't truly believe in it, and that goes back to that why, if that why isn't big enough to do and keep you motivated and keep you focused, then you're going to kind of lose focus on your goal. And this is where your soul family is important. Because you have to have people that are going to keep you accountable. Keeping accountability is a main thing with a goal. And, I'll there in just little things on just phrasing and wording, well, he always does when talking about the DM. No, strike that. They're coming in new. They're coming in changed. He used to, but now he will. Little things like that. But when you get into that mindset, you've got to have that soul family that can say to you, hey, this is just what it is, or this is just in the 3D. 3D is an illusion. But you have to be kept accountable, and all of us do. You know, there's nobody that is exempt from that. Everybody has to have that accountability to help keep you on track, to help you keep you focused on your goal. Um, because if not, you're not going to learn from your experiences. So you've got to, you know, and follow those goals. So you've got to have that. That's where soul family comes in. It's so important. And if you haven't found your soul family, they're there. You know, ask for guidance. Know they're there. You might have a little bit of a time that it seems like everybody's disappeared, but that's a really good time to become unified with yourself and in union with yourself. And then as you're working on that, your soul family will just pretty much show up. And I think it, do you guys kind of agree on that with how it kind of works? It's not like you have to go out and search for them or put an ad in the paper or.
No, pretty much. When I start to kind of thinking about something, that's the same thing like with this starting of the channel. I made a goal. I said, you know what? I'm watching enough YouTubes about twin flames. I know I can do the cards, and I just sat there and I started saying, people were brought to me. I'm like, who can I do to do the logo? And then it's my friend. She did that, and then people would show up to kind of help me. Then Raquel, I didn't ask for that. She appeared out of and she was like, okay, I think I had did a couple of readings and something like that. And she created her own, she had her own channel as well. And so she kind of helped to hone and kind of do some molding of some things of helping me. But otherwise these people just attract on her, like finding you all. I was like, okay, I got this idea. I talked to April through Sean, and then you came about it, and I was like, okay, I see their gifts. Let's create this playground. So it just shows up, if you just put down. It's so important about putting the intentions out there that those resources Spirit will gift you, especially if it's something that its source is brought to you. It will come to you fully clothed, and they'll go find the designer and the clothes rack and all the people that can be able to put the things together for you so you can be able to have those things. So yeah, most definitely for me, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think some people are thinking, well, there's nobody around me that is in, understands this, understands energy. People look at me like I'm crazy. And through Raquel, or in, Jupiter 11, she had a I can't even remember the name of the group. It was back in the fall, but we were I can't, but anyway, it was like a prayer group, and we kind of all just kind of prayed and meditated for each other and our DMs and accountability circle. That's what it was. And I wound up meeting Benita, who would have known, lived, 15 miles from me. So that soul family it does just kind of find you.
Yeah.
And so don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged if you're not seeing that just yet. It's coming. And the last one is no follow through.
Hold on a second, Kathy. April has been trying a long time ago. Hell, and chime in. Go on, April.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm cool with all that has passed. But I said that earlier, and I wanted to take it back. I wanted to eat it back up because there's something about when you use a negative to explain a positive thing.
Okay.
So that's why I was like, do we really need to? I don't know. But don't be discouraged. But be encouraged.
Right.
Remain encouraged. There we go. Because I wanted to correct myself earlier, and I was like, okay, I put it out there, but how do I do that? How do I take it back? Because the universe doesn't hear your don'ts or nots. Like when you make your lists for clarity, like I don't want it to look like this, and I don't want it to. and when you make your list, how you attract your lover, that whole thing when you write a letter and you put the things all the things you want in them and what you like. You don't put the things you don't because you get those too.
You get your drop dead Fred.
Yeah, and the accountability, and the last thing now, shoot it back to you, is very good, especially when you're a procrastinator, because you'll have people that will check in with like, okay, did you start that video? Did you start that video? Did you start that? So, okay, damn, I'm so tired of them asking me. Yes, I started the video. And that's it. So it's very good that you have that type of support system that holds you accountable for that goal too, as well. Especially if you're a procrastinator like myself.
Well, and emotionally too. Through this whole thing, you've got to have that emotional support. You know, when the 3D takes over, and when the non-positive thoughts come in, and you've got to be able to have somebody say, "Hey, wait a minute," you know, and especially I know the three of us can do it. We kind of watch it. It almost like bounces amongst us on who it happens to, and then it kind of everybody else. You know, poor Divine there, she usually gets it the worst first, and then the rest of us know to brace ourselves because within a week to two, it's gonna cycle its way through to us the way our group works.
Mhm.
Um, but having that is a good thing, and to be able to know that that's going on, because a lot of times you've been through it, so when we hit it, you can give us encouragement, and as you go through it, we give you encouragement, and so it works out to keep everybody as high vibe as possible.
Very much so. It does.
And the last one is no follow through. Don't write out your goal and stick it in a drawer and let it get dusty. It's not going to do anybody any good. You wasted a tree. You just don't just write it out and leave it. It don't. And I mean, if you're going to do that, you might as well start with once upon a time. So, but those are considered the seven deadly sins of goal setting, and that's through the cognitive brain theory on doing that. And there's lots of ways to journal. You can I mean, you can look them up on Pinterest and everything else. There's lots of really great journaling to help you find those goals, to hone those goals in. The main thing is going through and doing an inventory of what you love, what makes you happy, and then what is the one thing that just absolutely sends your, I don't know if it's like, the best way to explain it for me a lot of times is your irate meter off the wall, that you just can't believe in this world this is happening today. And that is where some of your passion is guided. I know with my oldest daughter right now, of course, she's been begging to go to the rallies and to go to the protests and everything. I'm like, you're 14. No, I'm not taking you. But she's very passionate about, because they are still a little violent down here with us. But she's very passionate about, the whole Black Lives Matter movement. She just thinks that she was saying, how can any life matter if one life doesn't? And that is, that's her thing, and that is her stance. She's always been about people, having equal, that everybody getting what everybody needs. And so I think you need to really evaluate that in yourself. And I agree with her on that wholeheartedly. But I also think like homeless veterans. That's one that gets to me. Um, and everybody has their own thing, be it the SPCA and mistreatment of animals, or not enough food for children. Everybody's got that one thing that your family knows not to bring up at Thanksgiving dinner, that kind of thing, because you're just so passionate about. And when you figure out what that is, you really need to hone in on that, and then look at it as, what kind of skills do you have that can help with that? And how do you help with that? What do you need to go about to do the best that you can for that situation? So when you're setting your goals, that's a really important thing to look at. And that's going back to that why. How big is that why?
I'm time jumping. I got one person here that say I'm new to the journey, and I would like to know what is the goals that I should be setting as a person who is new to the twin flame journey. What should I be? What are some goals would you suggest that I should be setting at this time when I'm just starting on a journey?
Self-love.
Okay.
Most definitely, you self-love, and then union with yourself, because you have to know yourself before truly you can have, union with yourself. But those are the two most important things, because I think you ladies will agree with me, once you have that and you have a good understanding of that and you practice the self-love, um, you're not rattled as easily, and you really become who you truly are and who you're truly meant to be,
Mm.
and you stand more in your power and in both your feminine energy and your masculine energy, and they kind of can weave together, more so than when you're going through and not really knowing who you are. It's that what's that old saying? If you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything. So I think self-love and and union with self, those are the two, because you can't move forward in this journey. You can try, but it's going to be slower and harder, I think, until you master those. I mean, I don't. If there's anything that's clear cut and blueprinted, that would be my thing to say. If you're surely going for union, because with your partner on the 3D, once you master those, then that partnership isn't as urgent. You're
Mm.
you're still you're still good. You still want them.
Mm.
You want to be able to sit and smoke with them and stuff like that, but it's not as urgent because you understand who you are and where that comes from.
You also detach yourself from demanding,
Mm-hmm.
like it has to appear in a certain way. You won't push away that love that you actually truly desire. You need
Mm-hmm.
to get realistic with what it is that you really feel. And that again goes back to self awareness and self knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
If I were beginning, just beginning, what did I do? I pulled away from everything else, which I think is it's kind of key. You pull away from everything, and then you let yourself define yourself. And then when you go back out there, you see where you're being pushed and pulled to either be something that you are or you aren't. And your true
Mm-hmm.
friends and your true, like she's saying, soul family, they will uplift you towards being your best self. And that doesn't necessarily mean agreeing with you or having it to always be happy or cycling into some kind of trauma bond situation where you're just both complaining all day. Like that's not helpful either. Getting yourself to a space where you are going to help the world. You're going to help yourself. You're going to move forward day by day, even if it starts with something very small. Setting those small goals of today, I'm going to maybe learn more about what my chakras are, or what are energies. I feel something in something is trusting your intuition. Yeah, learning to trust your intuition. Let's say it
Mm-hmm.
says maybe I should just go talk to my grandma for some reason. You call your grandma, and one, she's just happy to hear from you because hopefully grandma's always there, right? And two, maybe she imparts some kind of wisdom for you, or maybe it's something is saying, I need to go for a walk. You go outside and you see a friend that gives you some really solid information. Not that I'm saying that these things are going to be the exact set in stone,
Mm-mm.
but just trusting your intuition, trusting your gut. It said to myself is telling me to turn on the TV, and you turn on the TV, and it just so happens to be your favorite childhood movie or something that's playing randomly. All of these things add up to being important and just flowing, just learning that flow. Because there's a resistance where if you do go in super deep, super hard, super fast, it can be shocking. It's like trying to say you're going to be what is a good analogy for this? It's almost like saying, I'm going to be a deep sea diver, but you've never ever gone swimming. But you buy all the gear and you decide, I'm just going to go in tomorrow. That's kind of like too much. You might kill yourself. It could be crazy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be one heck of an experience. you'll most likely survive, but it's going to hurt you. Versus taking the time and taking little steps and learning the classes, figuring out how to use all the tools and equipment that you need. You know, all of that stuff. Just take your time. Have patience with yourself overall, because it's going to be a fun one. Welcome to the journey. Welcome to the place.
And one thing April said that was fantastic, and people really need to understand and remember, is your best version. And she said you're going to become the best version of yourself, and learning your best version of yourself. Nobody has ever said perfect. So don't hold yourself to that. Your best version. Okay. And you can't compare it to anybody else. I really wanted to make that clear. To be on this journey, to be a twin flame, to be successful on this journey, and to be with your DM, you don't have to be perfect. You'll drive yourself crazy trying to be perfect, and probably them too. Because then when you take yourself to those standards, you're going to take them to those standards. But your best person. That's the most important part of it. And that was a great way to put it.
Don't take yourself too seriously. It's
Right.
all going to change. It's all changing. It's all constantly molding. Don't get me wrong. Do things with purpose and with passion and focused energy, but try not to get too hung up on if it's XYZ, because truly everything's becoming redefined. Even how we define ourselves as women. If you go through some past episodes, we define the divine masculine, we define the divine feminine, we define what those are, and they actually are all flowing definitions and constantly evolving definitions. So you're in the right place, the right time. Just trust the process.
Yeah, I would say for me, advice would be your goal is to really know yourself, first of all, and then also your goal is to really truly understand and define what your own self-worth is. I think a lot of times we get into this, especially on this journey, we're answering to what the divine counterpart wants, we're answering what everybody else wants, we're answering what society wants. And your goal really walking into this at the beginning is really saying, everything that I move is with the intention of understanding what my worth is, regardless of what kind of situation that I am actually finding myself in. Because at the beginning, I would say that was kind of a question mark. And I think in some ways, that's really, some of us is really what the main objective is for us in this journey, is for us to really truly understand how valuable we are, not only to source, but to the world. And that, again, if anybody else is telling you your value of who you are, that's a problem. That's a question mark. But to really get to the point to understand, I know what my worth is. And, everybody else has to kind of find their way of working around that, not me working around them. So that's one thing I would say, is really find out what your worth is. That's your goal. I'm going to find out what my worth is on this journey. And then really, once I find it, then stick to it. That's the main thing I would say. April, do you have any kind of exercise for us to help us to with goal setting? Or
I think getting oxygen to the body and to the brain. I don't know if you felt it, but we are all just like dragging, for lack of better words, we're all kind of dragging ass, right? So we're procrastinating. So we're resistant to having our own self be in power. We're pulling back from passion because we're afraid of having that passion rejected, or even seeing what our true power is, right? Because if we see our true power, then we have to live up to it. So part of this is going to be just getting into, let's all stand up. We're going to get some oxygen into the body. Whew. I'm really sore, so this is gonna hurt me more than it hurts you.
Do that. Okay.
Oh no, I'm so sore. I worked out twice yesterday. I don't know what I thought I was gonna do, but it's clearly hurting me now. Okay. So we're gonna scrunch into a little ball. Oh,
Okay, let me see if I can move this out
yeah.
the way.
Actually, Kathy, if you can you pull your knees up to you?
I gotta
There you
go.
go.
Hold
Shove. Oh, look what I got. Wait, where's your diaper?
It's that portion of the show tonight. Where's your diaper?
Where's your diaper?
And then spread out. Ah. And then crunch up again. Oh, little. Even squish your face. Squeeze your booty in. Just let go and stretch. Even your fingers and toes and all the way back. Things should be spreading and popping. And one more time. No. Seriously, bro? All right. Well, I guess I wasn't supposed to have that to you. I guess we're all resistance today. Tight as can be. And
I jumped out. How many times? Okay.
all right. Well, at least you didn't rip down my curtain today. Okay, so. Hey, baby.
It's not over yet.
Well, I can't have you on camera. You're not wearing any clothes. Just be free. Be free, people. Free your booty, and the rest will follow.
Okay, what am I supposed to do? Understand?
That was good to get the brain and everything going. Oh my goodness, y'all. This timing is hilarious. Come on now.
Can I sit? Can I stand? Can I walk? What can I do? I can't stand. I do the camera.
You're in at any point, son. But now you come in during the exercise.
And for anybody new on this journey, this is actually, that's a good example of the journey. Something's going to come in out of left field that you're not expecting, and you just have to flow with it.
Exercise
and his balance is he actually needs a nap right now. So nap when you need to.
Goodness.
And what do you mean, my baby? Say hi. Say hi to the people. Say hi to the people.
Okay. Oh, she about to do something else? Okay.
Just rock back and forth with me. Just sway where you are. Start with the base. Start with your hips. And let it roll up your spine. Let your sides stretch while you start to do these side bends. Do slow and exaggerated movements. Allow your arms to flow through with it. There you go. Let it lift. And now that we're getting our butts moving, I can feel the energy moving through our body. Just do it all the way, like stretching your side out. Side. Oh, yeah. See my COVID hairy armpit. I'll just bend on backs. You can't see my teddy bears, as I call them. Okay. Now, I don't know if you feel that energy rising up through your... I'm doing some nice little back bends and breathing. This is going to allow the energy to flow up, back, and forth. And I'm letting the, almost like the wave of it going through my spine. We want to keep our spine active and moving. We want to keep our body in flow. Whew. And this, just awakening the body, allowing blood to get to the brain is really going to help you allow for more clarity and space in your physical world, in your meditations, and all of these things, because this is how we get the work done. This is how we enter into union 3D, is we accept and learn and know and awaken and enliven our bodies, and we become aware of all the pieces in between. And you're going to start to see, because this is a goal setting, make it one of your goals to know yourself, know what your limits are, know if you need rest, know if you need water, know if you need food. Start breaking old habits and try a little bit of discipline. Start with one day. Let's say you really want to lose weight. You don't eat it late at night, right? You just let your body have a period of fasting. So I know that we're all in a state of kind of wanting comfort because of the amount of chaos that's going on in the seeming chaos that's going on in the world, and a lot of information that we're being pumped. But try to discipline yourself and give yourself self-love in other ways. What's something else? How can you love yourself in a way that's better than eating junk food from the 19th time? You know, like those chicken McNuggets didn't take away your problem, sis. So maybe we need to think about it a little differently this time.
Still there. The problem is still there.
My order wasn't big enough.
All right.
I need more.
All right. It is still there. All right. I'm going to pull some cards because that's a good, nice segue, and then we'll wrap it up. What things do when we talk about goal setting according to source? What are some things that we have to change in our lives? Clear for the goal setting. What is the main thing collectively? Those that are watching and doing replay and all that stuff. What do we have to do? What are some things sources saying? This kind of thing. Aha! Life changes. Pay attention to the realizations and the epiphanies. Those things have to change. Again, to me, when I see realization, that means you got to become a realist about that. Like she said, to become real. Like, is this really a good goal? And then also epiphanies, to me, let some ideas inspire you, you know, as well. How are you doing as far as in your communication, your throat chakra, because it's got blue right there. And then how you stand in your power when you're talking about goals. And then how does it resonate in your heart as well? So that's what I see when I see it says realization and epiphanies when it comes to goal setting right there. So it can help to transform you, how you're communicating it as well, your goals. So almost what we said again with Kathy D saying, you know, it depends on what type of learner you are too. As far as, you know, setting goals, maybe you might be saying, I need pictures or to help, or do I need to verbalize it, or do I need to write it? Well, of course, you said to write it down, but some people might need to do something extra, write it down, and then also do pictures or something like that, or even keep it on your computer, digital. I used to have that too. I moved into digital vision boards too. So every time I opened up my computer, I would see my vision board as well. That was my screensaver. Let's look and see what things we have to surrender collectively. Surrender to play. Okay. So again, love you too. Okay. Take a break from overthinking a goal. I think you two both had said that. Do something fun. Play is a time of recreation and rejuvenation. Okay. So you set your goals. Make it fun, because see, if it's not fun, then you're not going to want to kind of achieve it either. You know, it's like, Dad, this is like a chore. This is like a job.
Well, that's where that why comes in. When
Right.
that why is big and you know the outcome, then it's fun.
Right. And that's what you want to make sure that you make it when we're talking about goal setting.
And it's not about what others people want for you or how it looks. It's about the goal for yourself.
Yes.
Right.
It makes you now learn to focus on you. Focus.
Focus, hocus pocus. Make the magic happen, people. Let's get out there and let's make some goals out here that are realistic, that are set for us, that other people can benefit from it, but we're not setting the goals with them in mind. All right, then, people. We are we are at the end of the rainbow. We have found the pot of gold. All right, then. So if you want more, because this right here, you see all that good information the Jedi Master did, Miss Kathy D. Go to pineapplefishlifecoaching.com. You can see she can help you set the goal. Say, I got ideas. I just don't know where to start. So you go to Kathy D and she'll say, okay, tell me what you want. I'm time jumping. She'll tell you, tell me everything. And then she'll help you to narrow it down to a sensible, plannable goal for you for life. All right. So you go to her. And then we also have our own Hawaiian goddess, Miss April Williams, there for Golden Lifestyles Unlimited, made for this goldenlife.com. Go there so you can get some more information as far as meditation, how she can help you to center, maybe some meditations that are good for you that you can do throughout the day to keep you focused and centered on the goals that you want to achieve in life. So make sure you go to madeforthisgoldenlife.com as well. And then we also have a program called the Playground Experience that also, if you got a goal and you're having problems trying to figure out how you can set your mind to it, how you can be able to get your body to it, and how you can get your spirit to it, go to your divineunisouls11.co, where we are offering the Playground Experience. You pretty much get an hour's worth of session time with myself, April Williams, and Kathy D, where we work with you in creating that program. So make sure you go and check that out and it's for a reasonable price too. You got 3 experts that are working with you as well. So there's too. And if you like the card readings that I have as well, make sure you hit me up as divineunisouls11.co so you can be able to book a reading with me. All right then. And if you really like what we're throwing down on this channel, make sure that you click like, share, and subscribe so you can see about other good things that we have. So this Friday, as always, we have the Sandbox Experience, where we're going to continue the dialogue about setting goals, and we'll also take your questions too that may or may not pertain to setting goals. If it's just about the twin flame journey, it's about your mission, if it's about you in love, or whatever it is, we're there for you to answer your questions from all 3 of our perspectives. All right then, let's get us on out of here. All right then, Kathy D. Out of here. That's wrong one.
That's not me.
Somebody, I need to hire somebody. Kathy D.
Wishing you your best life ever. See you soon.
All right, and April Williams she said, I think she can't
Yeah,
say
she said aloha.
aloha. Translate Kathy D like you do. She said aloha. She said do
Peace and love.
peace and love, peace, love, and so. All right, and no, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascended. Namaste, namago. Mwah. Love
Mwah.
you. All right, we out of here, people. See you this Friday at the Sandbox. Bring your